Yeah, you go. Okay. Right, guys, you ready?
So this is my Fmppitch. My progress over the course so far this year, so I've done a ton of stuff. So we've got, that's the filming for an advert, which I really, really enjoyed, and that's when I first started actually using the camera and figuring out how to use it. There's a bit of my blog and all the photos that I've took, and the paperwork as well. I learned to do the paperwork and knew nothing about the paperwork in September when I started. Here's us setting up the lights. Me and the crew on that day, we set up all the lights. It was pitch black in that garden, absolutely, and we managed to get the lights so that you couldn't see the background, you couldn't see the house in the background, you could just see the person and the people around him, which is what we wanted. He is messing with lighting again, and then costume design there and there as well. And then we've got that one in the corner, and this one, which is when I did my dream placement, which I did a lot of social media advertising with that, but I also filmed an interview for them, which was very cool, and yeah, that's what I've done so far. So before I get onto the age categories and everything like that, I just wanted to show you this because my project is very much, it's poetry, and I'm doing all the visuals to go with the poetry, and it's all about teens and body image and everything like that, and how people sort of view themselves one way but other people see them another way, and how it distorts you. You'll look in the mirror, you'll see someone that might not be yourself because you've put that image in your brain, sort of thing. So this is the way that body image has changed over the years. Say our parents, for example, or our grandparents, born then, and this is the body image now. They went through all of that. You can't change your body to keep fitting someone else's perception of beauty. So my age range was 15 to 24, but I've been researching it, and body image and how you view your own body negatively as well starts as early as 3 or 4 years old, which really, really surprised me. I thought it was 11 or 12. I know it was getting younger, but I didn't realise how much younger it was actually getting. So my idea slurry, so I'm basically bringing poetry to a reality. I've got 2 girls who write poetry on TikTok. They have quite a big following at the moment, and I reached out to both of them, and they've said I can use any poems at all on their account as long as I give them credit. I want to bring emotion to people during it, and I want to use the Cumbria scenery to also show a bit of life in Cumbria as a young girl or a young boy. I'm showing the realities of the struggles as a teenager and struggles of mental health and body image and how they coincide with each other. And I'm using a young girl as an actor. I'm using a 14-year-old girl. She's my little sister. She's been through a lot of the struggles that will be featured, so I feel like she'll be very good at acting it out and going along with the poetry because she knows what it feels like. So my demographic, as I said, is teenage girls, for the most part, 15 to 24. So it's becoming younger, obviously, but it's 15 to 24, that's the main age range, but it may differ 5 years on either side. So for my planning and equipment, I'm using my own camera, my own tripod and my own microphone, and then I'm thinking of either getting redhead LEDs or softboxes from college. As for my actors, I've said it's my 14-year-old sister and the girls who write the poems on TikTok. For my plan, after I've done this, I'm basically just going to get on with all the paperwork. All the paperwork I need to do, I'm just going to get all that banged out, hopefully in the next week. And then start filming the 1st of May. And I should have it filmed within 2-3 days, is what I'm giving myself, because it's with my sister, so we can film at any point. So I'm going to do that, hopefully the week starting the 1st of May, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I can start editing on the Thursday. This is a bit of a mood board of what I want to show. It's kind of life as a teenager, looking in the mirror, seeing something different, living in Cumbria, seeing the beautiful scenery and having all of that as well. I thought that was quite an interesting image because they are so young and they're already pampering themselves or something, which I think gives an underlying message of how young girls actually are when they start thinking about that sort of thing. I just want to show life as a girl in Cumbria. So I've got a load of examples here of what I want to do. Similar, but not the same. This one in particular, I loved that one at first, but all they've done is the show The End of the Fucking World. That show is, they've just used them visuals and just put them over an amazing poem. So that could be done differently. These are the girls on TikTok if you'd like to look them up and have a look at their poems. That's the girls I'm using. And then I've just got some examples here. So I think a lot of people have seen this one, and I feel like this is the type of poem that I'm going to be using, not this exact one, but types like this. And I feel like it would be, there's no audio, but I feel like it would be very good to be able to put that to visuals, because although like poetry, when you read poetry or you listen to poetry, you can visualise it in your head, but to have that down on a film with the poetry, I feel like that would just be very helpful to young girls to be able to see that they're not alone and they're not the only ones going through that. So yeah. So I'm going to broadcast this on Instagram, TikTok and YouTube. It will be promoting the two different girls' poems and their work, and it can be sort of to get some traffic on their page and show them some love basically, because their poems are very powerful and they deserve it. They are very lovely girls and they were very happy to help out with this. And I might reach out to some companies like Youth Zone, because there's a lot of young people that go to Youth Zone, so if they're playing this on their screens as they walk in or anywhere like that, then I feel like it'll get the message across to them and it could help some, because they have the age range, I think they start from 7 all the way up until 21. So that can help thousands of kids. And then colleges or schools, we have a screen up out there. There's other colleges that will have the same thing, and obviously it's a film, so I can just send the link and everything, and they can play it and they can show their students it, and it's just sort of a way of educating people that they're not alone, and educating people that everyone goes through it at some point and they shouldn't view themselves in that way to start with. Any questions?
Johnny?
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, you could maybe we try to think of any charities or something.
Yeah.
And then just like, if they maybe use it in like their websites or something.
That would be great actually, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
For research purposes, because you want to specifically target the Cumbrian audience as well,
Yeah.
like younger people, you could also look into Cumbrian mental health services and how they've been underfunded.
Yeah.
Because they are, West Cumbria especially is the most underfunded mental health unit in the country. You could also talk about how there's no mental health hospitals for young adults, because the only ones that are available are in the northeast.
Yeah.
There's no services available.
Our age groups get left out of it all.
So that would be a cool thing to kind of mention as well. There's not a lot of support in Cumbria and stuff like that. And in terms of like poetry, there's a lot. You could go down spoken word as well. That's kind of music and poetry mixed.
Yeah.
And there's a really cool person called Kay Tempest who has recently transitioned, but they speak about what it was like to be a woman and like the struggles they face. But obviously they're not a woman anymore, but
Yeah.
their music is still out there, so that's a really cool thing to maybe get some ideas and stuff.
Oh, that's all.
Another thing with that is just to make sure that if you do say that we're underfunded and we don't have enough support here, you need to kind of praise the support that you do have.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I want to say, because there might not be a lot, but there's some like mental health people, like
Yeah.
the counsellors or like just anything like that, just like praise them and like say like you're not the problem kind of thing.
I'm going to disagree with that actually, slightly, because you're not journalists, you're filmmakers here, okay? So you're not in the same situation where you can't reflect the bias, if that makes sense. Like, you know, when you're trying to get a message across as a filmmaker, it can dilute the message if you're trying to play both sides, if that makes sense.
I guess I think it's just more the fact that if it goes in like, if it goes up in the youth zone or if it goes
Don't think it's
up
gonna
in charity places
But like
and stuff like that, it's
praising the people who, because obviously we all think that people who work in the mental health sector are awesome people, you know.
Yeah.
In fact,
You're
my
not-
mum works there, whatever, you know. But like, if you have an opinion that's given it a bias, whereas if you actually speak about the fact, which is it is underfunded, and that's why people are struggling, then it leaves it a bit unbiased because that's a fact, that's not an opinion.
Because you're not. It's like anything else. You're not criticizing individuals here.
Right.
You're criticizing governments.
yeah.
So, but I think, and I also, I mean, you wouldn't be. I don't think you'd be doing this. You'd be doing that as blatantly as just saying it. Like, you know, it'd be because the fact that it's a poetic experimental film. Like, you know, you can't do that just with text unless it was part of the poem or something like that. So it would be a visual thing anyway. Like, you know, so it would be harder to do.
Yeah, I can't just outright say that like it's underfunded or anything because I'm going off poems that they've already written. So I'm just using poems in general about everything, and then I can do the visuals going on with it.
Or you could just put it in your bio, like the, you know,
I can put it in the credits.
the credits,
Yeah.
stuff like that, and then link a mental health charity or like.
Yeah,
things
you
you
know
can do.
how on Netflix, like at the end or at the start, they'll have like a few words to say something about what's about to be played. I can put it there.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Some really good feedback, guys, on this project. Just like to say, I'm quite impressed. Anything else? Because I don't want to stop you guys.
No, there's got like younger people got this market maybe looking for like say we have any old people who maybe open up their like what is market and say well and like how do they suffer and, like,
Yeah.
so then trying to get like the both into like how it was like because I know you said at the start like how it kind of has gone on throughout time.
Yeah.
It's about how it was like say back in like the 70s something.
Yeah, I
Compared
need
to
to
how it
add
is
all
now.
that into
And
it.
like it's very different obviously with social media
Yeah.
compared to how those magazines and TVs back then. Because now it's like every time you go on your phone there's like
Yeah.
someone's body.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could like speak to like have like grandparents because they'll know about.
Speak to my grandma.
They'll know about like Twiggy. She was like huge in the 60s, like really skinny, like promoted a lot of like basically to starve yourself to be skinny. Because I know my gran actually suffered from anorexia because of that body image type, and that would be like a really good thing to like maybe ask your gran and then your mum and like how like different women in the media have changed body image because we have Kim Kardashian now,
Yeah.
so people want bigger boobs or like bigger asses, where back then it was super
Now
skinny.
she's getting everything taken out because it's changed.
Ah, well,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's all really good points, and even if that obviously you wouldn't be able to fit that into your actual piece, but that's all really good research, like, you know, that you could go and film, like, you know, and things like that. Even that it's interesting because we've been doing a project with the second years, with the NHS department that deals with eating disorders.
Yeah.
Because we just did a little piece on a woman that lives out on a farm that's only discovered it's not only discovered, she's been living with anorexia for over 60 years, and it still goes up in and out and out and out. So there's a lot of good research you could do with this as well, like, you know, to get on with it. I think it's has anybody else got anything else before I give my feedback? Yeah, good. Okay, all of that's really good, valid feedback, and that's quite impressed with that. I think it's a good project. I want to see your planning as far as your storyboarding, because I can't see what it's looking like completely yet, but I like the idea, and I like the you know, I think it could be really interesting. I think you should you need to think about how, because you talked about landscape and stuff like that, so think about how you can maybe juxtapose the beauty of the landscape with the, you know, the struggles that is going on.
Yeah.
Because I imagine that's, you know, the poems are about personal stories, are they about personal struggles? Asa made a really good point about spoken word, actually, where I would, because I've got down here to look at poetic and experimental films, but definitely, because I think you're going to need some kind of music behind it to kind of to sell it, like, you know, and to give it a bit more of an emotional impact. So definitely look at that. I think stuff like, you know, kind of street poets and stuff like that. Like, you know, the BBC did a series, I think, about a year or two ago, which has a lot of kind of, I don't want to call them music videos because they're not, but like videos with different artists, like, you know, that was highlighting their skills and stuff like that. It was good. Good consideration to audience and exhibition again. So that feedback's obviously hit home with people since yesterday. It's an interesting idea. Well done. It's just need to not drop the ball with the production, but it should be good. Okay, cool. I'll send you your feedback. Right, thanks guys. Right, it's 10:21. I don't think we'll get through another one before break. So do you want to? Shall we just hang for 7-8 minutes, like, you know, before break? Do you want to go back into the Mac Lab, maybe get some stuff done, things like that? And then who wants to go straight after break?
I could.
Yeah? You okay? Are you sure? Yeah. Cool.
Oh, Bex, it's yours. This is mine. So I don't want to give you my
I don't
comments.
know. Yeah, it's not.
I've literally
I don't edit the full version.
I think everyone's dying at the moment.
Holly's got the same thing I had. I was really bad on the weekend with it, but like, luckily I got better.
Yeah.
Why are you able to do more than that? Because I don't want to do it in front of a lot of people.